I can't see you. Okay, here we go.
Hey, good afternoon. We're going to start here in about 3 or 4 minutes. There's quite a few on. There's several here, so we'll just give it a few more minutes. We'll probably get started about 1:01.
Are you eating some of that? Good for you. Are you eating the dessert? Oh, you ate the cookie. That's all right. Oh my God, yeah.
There we go.
Get started today. Friends, their family.
Here's your remote and there's your phone. I don't know how long this is going to last, but I'll go in the front room with the dogs. Oh, honey, they're going to be talking. You don't want to hear that.
I'm gonna go out on the porch and do this meeting, then I'll be right back in,
Oh,
okay?
sure.
Mm.
And you can control that. I want us to mute all though. Okay. All right, good afternoon. Welcome those that are here live. Welcome, to all those that have joined through the Zoom call and those will be watching the recording later on this evening. I want to kind of take us back in time to how the company started. And then we're going to fast forward and we're going to see what that legacy looks like. What's tomorrow look like? So, first off, July 18th, 2016 is when we opened the business, right? And as everybody knows my story, I started the company because of things that happened to my grandfather that, been taken advantage of. And the company I worked for prior, they did things that were hurting the front line and things that were not good for morale across the company. And I knew when I left that company in March of 16 that whatever I did, I would never be in a situation to allow that to happen again. So, I wanted to create jobs. I wanted to create an environment people wanted to work and loved to work. And also something that could be in remembrance of my grandfather, who passed away in March of 12. And I saw the need here in Southeastern Kentucky for seniors and the need for care. in this area. So there the venture began. Took a leap of faith. Tracy and I did. Of course, I was a one-person show for a little while. So we had one employee, me, right? So we have grown tremendously. Not because of what I did, it's because of what our employees have done. Those employees that, you know, started in 2016 and some of those still with us since 2016. And in 2017, we really started to hire people, and we have quite a few of those. It's amazing the number that's still with us from 2017. And in 2018, we have the 401k and profit sharing, right? So that was a huge deal. From there, we did a cash deferred plan in 2020 that opened up. That was a big deal. We won awards across, you know, from large business of the year from the chamber in Laurel County. We just got best of the best here most recently, getting ready to take a picture. So those that are here live, we're going to ask that you take a picture with us at 2 o'clock. We were the Veterans Advocate of the Year in 2018. Within the Home Helpers franchise system, we won the largest award there, CEO award, right? Lots to be proud of. And I can go on and on and on and talk about all the awards that this company has won. But the thing I'm most proud of is, you know, what our clients say about the care that our people give, and that's through home care pulse studies. And we also have employee home care pulse surveys. But our clients, you know, every time we get those surveys, we'll read through them. We actually have a meeting, we'll read through some of those, right? And it just, you know, it touches me that we have such great caring employees. So there's always tomorrow, right? So that legacy that we leave behind. And, you know, I would never want the company to go into the hands of somebody that doesn't have the same passion I have about people. And through my discovery work, I found what's called an ESOP. It's employee stock ownership. And I've got some partners here that's going to talk through what that means to you all, and just make sure, you know, we're clear as we go through this, that 401k and profit sharing plan is staying in place. That's not getting changed. That's not getting removed. So I want to make sure to share our screen. And I'm going to share my screen, so hopefully everyone can see on their phones, iPads, whatever it may be. Just a second, I'm not as tech savvy. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to hand it off to Drew, who is, Kyle. Or I'm sorry, Will do next. All right. Will's one of our partners that helped us through this process, and he's joined us from Florida today. So he's with PCE. I'm going to let him go from here.
Okay. Pleasure to be here today, both in person and virtually for those of you on the Zoom call. Mostly to say congratulations. I think what you will learn about today and what you'll learn about over the next weeks and months and years, you will learn is a very positive thing. You all now will benefit like owners of the business going forward, which is a unique opportunity. ESOP, as Wayne said, stands for Employee Stock Ownership Plan. It is a qualified retirement plan, much like a 401k plan. The big difference being that 401ks invest in the stock market, ESOP invests in your home helpers company. So the better that your company does, the more value you will have in your employee stock ownership. And when I say it's a unique benefit, it's because there's only about 6,500 companies in the country that have an ESOP as a shareholder. So that's less than 1/10 of 1% of owners who decide to sell their company to their employees through an ESOP. And the reason that you don't see more people do it is that it's not the easiest decision. You know, there's other easier decisions that Wayne and Tracy could have made of how to sell their company. They could sell it to a third party. They could sell it back to the home helpers franchise. There's a lot of different things they could have done that probably would have been easier for them. But the decision to make an ESOP was one that Wayne and Tracy took very seriously and spent a lot of time on. We've spent more than a year putting this transaction together to make sure it was set up properly for you all and the company going forward. On the slide, you see a couple of companies that may be names that are familiar to you as an example of other companies that have chosen to do an ESOP. Publix and Wawa and Burns and McDonnell and Davy Tree are companies from very different industries that have more of a national presence. I think Elliott's more of a local company. And then Houchins Industries is a holding company based down in Bowling Green, but they own companies like IGA, big things you might be familiar with. And those are mostly larger examples of ESOP companies. But most ESOP companies, most of those 6,500 companies are in smaller businesses, like yours, ones that are driven by the employees, and their owners think their employees should be the ones that should benefit from ownership going forward, which you now all will. So why did Wayne and Tracy and other companies decide to do this? I think it's for all the reasons that Wayne mentioned. Very important to him because of his previous work experience and the experience with his grandfather. And I think it's important to understand that it's something that you can now drive from a success perspective. The future value of the company is something that you will benefit from, and the work that you do to continue to make it successful will now benefit you more than anybody. And the important part of it being successful and being a benefit to you is that it was set up properly. It's a little bit self-serving since we were involved in setting it up to say that, but I think when you understand the process that we went through and the time that Wayne and Tracy and everybody spent on it, it'll be you'll know that you'll benefit from that going forward. And I think one of the key roles in that is ESOP trustee. That is someone who was hired by the company to represent all of you as the employees and future ESOP participants to be sure that you were treated fairly in the process. And your ESOP trustee is Drew Schaefer, who's here to talk to you about the ESOP and introduce himself. So I'll pass it over to Drew.
Thank you. So as Will mentioned, I'm the trustee. So we'll get into a little high level structure later, but the shares of the company are held in a trust on your behalf. And so for the trust, you need a trustee to represent each of your all's interest and make sure that the trust assets are being protected, and those assets are the shares in the company. So I actually came from employee ownership myself. One of the companies mentioned there was Mortensen Family Dental. I was joined there, about 15 years ago, and it's an ESOP as well. And in working on the company side, gained a huge appreciation for ESOPs as a wealth transfer tool and a wealth building tool that through distributions to retired participants, you really see some generational wealth being generated and distributed to participants. So eventually moved into supporting ESOP companies full time. So although I am individually your trustee, we have a team of 16 individuals with SCJ Fiduciary Services. We're spread out across the country, but I'm based right outside of Louisville, Kentucky. So always excited to have more Kentucky ESOP formations to support. And additionally, there is an annual valuation done. Vision ESOP out of Grand Rapids, they did a valuation for the transaction originally. So as Will mention, it's an arm's length transaction. It's regulated by the Department of Labor. So the ESOP cannot pay more than fair value for the company. So Vision did the analysis on that, and we'll do an annual update as well. So since the shares of Home Helpers are not publicly traded, it's not like you can check your share price every day and see the fluctuations, which this week is probably a good thing. You can't see the fluctuations like the stock market. So There will be an annual valuation done as of December 31st of each year. And then there's a process thereafter to ultimately get you participant statements that'll show the share value that to reflect the evaluation. You'll be allocated shares each year as well, based off of effectively how much you work and are compensated. And so there's a third-party administrator, record keeper, principal, financial group. And so they do the administrative work as far as based off the definitions of the plan, allocating shares to each of you all, doing testing that's required for different regulatory matters to make sure that it's for the benefit of the population, nobody's being discriminated, et cetera. And then ultimately that culminates into the annual statements that we referenced. All right. So the ESOP was established effective January 1st of this year. So that's when eligibility really began. The transaction was consummated May 31st, but the ESOP was actually established January 1st of the year. So each year the company will make a contribution to the ESOP, and there's a transaction that effectively releases shares to each participant each year. Once again, that's in company stock. There's potential down the road to where there could be additional investments, but most commonly ESOPs are just investing in growing their business, and really with the opportunity with home helpers, that's where the biggest opportunity lies. And as the company invests in itself, the share price grows more and more as well. You'll hear the term vest a lot with ESOPs, and it's similar to the vesting with your 401k, and that if you were to leave before you're fully vested, you would not get your full account balance. So the ESOP is a long-term retention tool and wealth building tool, not a get rich quick scheme. So the vesting ensures that it's really benefiting the long-term participants. And ultimately, if somebody leaves and they're not fully vested, then those shares are forfeited and reallocated to everybody else that's remaining in the company. So yeah, so when you leave the company, you'll get the vested portion. There's a schedule for vesting, but ultimately, if you leave due to disability or normal retirement, or if you would unfortunately pass, you would automatically become 100% vested. As I mentioned, the shares of the company are held in the name of the trust on your behalf. So it's not like you can buy stock and have it in your name. It's for regulatory reasons in a trust. And so there's accounting that's done by the record keeper, really allocating all the shares to you as beneficial owners. So you'll hear that term as well. From a tax perspective, one of the big benefits of ESOPs is ESOP companies they're with the main structures, they're tax exempt for 100% ESOPs. And so huge advantage to be able to grow the company, and that you're not paying the company's not paying taxes. Ultimately, when you leave and you take your vested balance with you, if you take that in a cash distribution, you would be taxed at that point. However, you can roll it over to an individual retirement account, an IRA, and defer taxes until you take it out of that IRA. Yeah, and then just once again, the ESOP is the legal shareholder. So
Good. Thank you, Drew.
I know we had a couple other parties involved. Do you want to just mention them?
Yeah. So Magil, I know you're on. If you just unmute yourself there.
There you go. Can you,
Yes, we can hear you, Agile.
making sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad to be a part of this.
Yeah, so let me just tell who Magil is. Magil and I have worked together. I interviewed her back in March, April, May of 16. We had to have a CPA to help with the business. And she stood above everybody else by far. So we've worked together for a little over 8 years now. So Magil was, very integral in getting all the financials and helping with a lot of the legwork over the last year with this. So, Magil?
Yeah, just want to say that congratulations, because this is really a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for the company and all of the employees that work so hard. As I've got to work with Wayne, just, he's A+ boss, and you all are lucky to be a part of this program. And I'm excited to see where the company's going to go, and how this type of investment in the company and growth in the company can change lives. It can change lives, and it gives you retirement possibilities that other people just don't have. And so I'm just happy to be a part of this.
I'm happy to have you with us, Magil. Stacy, you're also on, right?
I am on, and I believe Steve Goodman is on as well.
Oh, perfect. So,
Steve, you want to go ahead and take the lead? I'll let you go do that.
yeah, so let me just let y'all know who Steve is. We have to have legal for our side, right? So Steve Goodman's out of Louisville. He's our legal side as far as, the company's interest, as far as going through this venture. Drew had his own attorney. We had our own attorney, and it's been wonderful working with Steve. So Steve, go ahead and just, floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I mean, it was a pleasure working with you on this transaction, and I think the company owes Wayne a nice thank you. This is a very nice thing that Wayne has done for your employees. And the future growth of this company is going to be allocated to your retirement accounts. And if the company does well and you work hard, your retirement benefit is going to be significant benefit, much greater than you would receive in your 401k plan. But it's been a pleasure working with Wayne, and we work with Drew Schaefer all the time, and also with PCE, Will and Kyle, and they've done a great job. And when you do a good job like this, it pays off for the employees in the future. So congratulations again. And of course, if there's anything that comes up, we'll be around to answer any questions.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks again, Stacy, for being on this morning as well.
All right. I'm Kyle Wishing. I'm with PCE. I had the pleasure of working with Will and everybody else here on the ESOP transaction. And I get the fun slide here talking about how your ESOP balance grows. I'll get into kind of the economics of it, but before thinking about the economics, there's a real intangible benefit, which I think the ESOP provides. Wayne's touched on this. We've all kind of touched on this, but the ESOP, as the owner, it answers a question that every private company has: who's going to own the company going forward? So Wayne's, by setting up the ESOP, has answered that question and set the company up for success in the long term. And you're not going to have somebody else, a third party, who come in and change how things work. So getting into the economics, it's a pretty simple function. It's the balance in your participant account is based on the number of shares that you have and the value of those shares. The shares that you get in your account, you're going to accumulate those shares on an annual basis. They're going to be contributions that the company makes to your account. And that's just on your behalf. So you won't be making any contribution personally. Then you'll also get shares if somebody leaves and they're not fully vested, those shares will be reallocated to the rest of the participants. Then the value piece, Drew mentioned that there will be an annual valuation that's conducted. And there's market factors that influence that, but really the biggest piece is how the company is performing. If the company performs well, you'll see good share growth there.
Very good. So back to me. So as you all can see, by the way the ESOP's been explained, when I kind of started doing that discovery work around, what's that look like, they said it's a hard decision, and quite honestly, it wasn't a hard decision. It was a very easy decision, because I am able to transfer what that looks like in the future to our employees who built this company. So I couldn't think of any other way. Just give you the story how that went. I went to Tracy. I said, "Hey, here's what this looks like," and I said, "So here, and this is what this looks like. But here's what it looks like when we transfer this and we become an ESOP." And she was good with it. So that's where we're at today. We closed on May 31st, but we're able to move it back to January the 1st as far as the vesting piece of it. So what can you do to increase value? Bold, bring your passion every day. We see clients that may be here with us, 2 more days, 2 more years, 2 more months, only God knows that. So put a smile on their face when you leave. You don't know if it's gonna be the last time you see them. And we are the only face some of our clients, as you all know, see. Own your results, good, bad, or indifferent. It's our results. Just learn from them. I always, tell my youngest son, it's life lessons. Take those lessons and make them be blessings. Love what you do. We all have things that happen to us. May have an argument with a spouse at home. Don't take it to work with you. Show that smile. Show that you really love what you're doing. And obviously, as all the awards this company has won in the past, driven by excellence, that can't fall to the wayside. Every day we have to be driven by excellence, because somebody's watching. A lot of us have kids. Some of us, like me, have grandkids, and they're watching. So no matter what job, what role you have, do it to your very best. Be excellent at it, and that'll drive your kids, grandkids, whatever it may be, also be excellent. Maintaining, excellent client relations. We do that home care pulse survey, and that's part of, for me, 2 of those surveys are the employees and the clients. That's part of my 3-legged stool. 3-legged stool, we have to take care of the clients, we have to take care of our employees, and we have to take care of our referral sources, those that are sending us those referrals. So you think our clients are telling those referral sources how we're treating them? You better believe it. So, we have to make sure those 3 are taken care of, and your all's piece of that is due to your best ability. Take care of those clients. Always work safely. You all who know me know that I would never want anybody to work in an unsafe situation. I always report it if it's unsafe, and make sure that your client service managers know if that's the case. And as we grow, we need more great people like all of you that are online here, all of you that are present. Refer your friends. If you love what you do and you think you have someone in your family, refer them to us. And we've got 192 employees. Next year, let's be at 292, right? And be dependable on attendance, because sometimes you don't realize if You call in for something that's controllable, and I get there's some things that are uncontrollable. I understand that. But if it's controllable within your control, make sure you're there, because if you call in, we have to move clients sometimes. We have to put a new person in there, and all you all know, our clients don't like new people in there, right? Exactly. So as much as possible, it's because that matters. And controlling wasted costs, overhead costs. I think we know, our gloves we use, our masks we use, our hand sand we use, those type of things are controllable. I'm not saying don't use them, because I do want us to be safe, and I do want us to, we have to use those gloves. But use them in a sense that, and what I say is act like an owner, and I, tell my office staff all the time, treat it like it was your dollar. Well, guess what? Now it is your all's dollar. It really is. So when I say act like owners, that's, and it won't hit reality, you all. I would definitely do some Googling, what's an ESOP, look at some what people that work for ESOPs or have retired from ESOPs, what that looks like, because I'm telling you, I did my homework, and I would not put us in this situation if it wasn't best for our employees. And this is truly best for our employees. And what the ESOP, means as far as being an employee owner, presents a unique opportunity for you to influence the value of retirement. That's all what you just heard from Will and Drew and Kyle, and obviously myself. It's not a passive investment. It's not an investment where you put a few bucks in something and you just let it sit. You have a vested interest in making sure that your value grows. And what is that? That's the value of the company. Because we have that valuation every year. Our value can grow, and your accounts grow along with it. So every day on the job, contributing to achieve overall company goals, profitability will increase the value. So, a couple of things I just want to make sure you all know. I'm no longer the owner, but I will remain as president, CEO, and chairman of the board for as long as you all need me, and hopefully you all need me for a lot of years. Madge, hold up, Madge, you're breaking up. All right, I've muted everybody again. All right, so I will remain as president, CEO, chairman of the board. That's nothing's changing there. Again, 401k profit sharing, that stays in place. That does not change. We will have an email set up. If you want to take notes on this email, it will be emailed out to everyone. April will do that along with the recording later on this afternoon. But that email to send any questions, because I know right now there has to be thousands of questions going around in your head. You can rewatch this recording, but also please send questions. Okay, we'll come up with a frequently asked question, one sheet or two sheet or three sheet, however many sheets we have to as far as frequently asked questions. Send that to Home Helpers ESOP. That's Home Helpers, just like it says right there. E is in elephant, S is in Sam, O is in Omicron, and P is in Paul. Okay, at Gmail. So that's where you send all your questions to. And we'll be monitoring that over the next couple weeks. And then from there, we'll put that together. And we have to do another webinar, and there'll be a lot more information coming out, especially as we get deeper into this. We have our first valuation. We'll have a lot more information coming out to everyone. So with that, again, congratulations to you all. Like I said, I don't know if it's truly going to hit home until you start seeing those statements and you start understanding what value this actually is to you all. With that, thank you again for all you all do for our clients. for me and for this company and the legacy of this company that's going to live on forever now. So thanks again. With that, I am closing and stopping the recording.